Okay, so you've got your artillery shells. You've got your boxes of artillery shells. Hopefully you heeded my advice and you're holding on to your tubes. Get all these that are shown here come with 4 tubes. And I pulled out basically from the whole inventory 12 tubes. I'm going to show you what you can do with these tubes to make a poor man's rack that's going to help you put on creative shows. So let's get going, okay? Okay, so here we have our 2x4 piece of wood. Now a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just go ahead and lay out tubes on a board, and then do kind of a weave pattern with the fuse. There's no right or wrong. As you can tell, if we do it this way, you're going to look at basically a 15 by 19 foot piece. But the thing is, most people then at that point, they will screw down the tubes. We're going to transition our tubes. We're just going to wrap them in some brown paper that you find at your local paint store. Add a little label on there to kind of get a little bit more uniform look. And again, these are all fiberglass tubes, so it doesn't really matter, what you choose to do with them. I just like the uniform look. And then when my friends and family are out looking at how I set up the display, it just looks much nicer than just having the labels showing from all the different brands. Okay, so to do any type of project, you got to actually have your building materials. So earlier in a previous video, and I'll put the link at the end of the video as well, I kind of discussed some storage ideas. Okay, this allows you to take everything, keep everything together. As you see, this is my storage, and I've got some gloves. I'm going to go and put my gloves on, and you'll see why later, why it's just easier to wear gloves. And once I can get these gloves on, you see some of the different materials that we'll need for. So first off, we got our tape measure. Okay. We've got some scissors, a nail gun. Now with the nail gun, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you. This is an 18 gauge, and we're using 1 1/4 inch nails. So I'm going to go ahead and load that for you, show how you load it. If you have a nail gun, they're great. They're cheap if you have an air compressor. So speaking of air compressor, I'm going to apologize right up front. You can probably hear my air compressor going off quite a few times. It's got a leak in the hose, so I apologize about that, but we'll try to talk through it. You got a hammer. You got some, we use a hammer for other things. You got some wood glue, the aluminum foil tape, which you're going to have to cut to put on for the fuse channel. And we got some stain. Okay, and just picked up, stain from your local paint store. Now on our storage, we got a little bin here. They are going to be for cable wire fasteners. Okay, you use these on our fuse channel, which you're going to nail in. And I'm not going to show you how to put that on this video, but you got some zip ties, so when you're ready to start, fusing up some fireworks. I'm going to show you that in a later video. And then if you don't have a nail gun, you want to use your screws, you got some screws. I'm just using a nail gun because, well, it's faster and more convenient. Okay? So this is what we're going to be building today. This is a 2-piece poor man's rack. Actually, 2-piece standard poor man's rack. And classify that because there are going to be some other box versions you can see a little bit later. Now I'm really kind of excited about this design because, again, you can tell these are the tubes. I just wrapped them, put a label on them. They sit nice and neat in the base. And again, you can use these for your cardboard tubes, or you can use them for your fiberglass or your HDPE. Again, you can screw them down to that base if you want, or you can just let them, kind of stand there. On the back is our fuse channel, which is where you'll cut and you put the aluminum foil tape. And again, I'll show you that piece later and how to fuse them. as we're putting together a show, or pieces I should say, for a show, and give you some different ideas. And okay. Now on the, since I already have one set built for you, I've gone ahead and I pre-stained this set that we're going to build, and I'm using a different color stain because stain's cheap, and I think it looks a little bit better than, you know, seeing all the residue from the fuses and the charge going off on a blank piece of wood. It's cheap. Okay, so I pre-stained all the boards, which I found to be a lot faster to pre-stain it than it is to try to stain it once you have the rack built. Now, what I use for my templates, okay, is I use the Smoking Guns. It's actually a cardboard tube, but it actually has a much, not much, but it actually has a bigger base than the fiberglass tubes I just showed you, as you can, you know, clearly see. So when you have a whole pile of tubes, which hopefully you held onto the tubes, pick out the one that has the larger base to build your base for your racks. And that way they're interchangeable. And then that's why I'm doing two different stain colors, because I'm going to be interchanging them and doing a couple of cool little display things. So I'm going to set the tubes in there so you can see how they fit nice and neat into the rack itself. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a little dry run before I start, just to make sure, because I don't have my pieces marked, and some of them are sides and they're almost about the same size. Okay, so just kind of give you a little dry run to see how the pieces fit together. Your ends are extended about an inch beyond the base, so it gives you a little bit more stability. That's why it's kind of important while you're doing this. Take a few seconds, kind of do a dry run and look to see before you start gluing and nailing it, where you're not wasting wood. I've done that. I've put together a whole rack and totally forgot to put on the extension on it, so I actually had to throw out the whole rack because, well, it's already glued, put together, and stained. That's okay. That's why we do these videos. Then, so I'm just going to go and get a line of glue down. Let's go and get this board. You can kind of see I try to take off the sticker from it, but I didn't have much luck. And again, I just stained right over the remaining portions of it, and you'll see why it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, still better than having a white sticker, but what I'm going to do is, once I get everything lined up, of course I'm a little bit meticulous on this, so I want to make sure everything's perfectly lined up, or as close to perfect as possible. And then, much like you do changing a tire, alternating sides on your lugs, and I'm going to do the same thing with the nail gun. Again, 1 1/4 inch 18 gauge nail. So I get that side. I'm going to do it this side. And this, because this is a smaller base, I'm going to put one in the middle. Now let's flip it over. I'm kind of going to do the same thing for this side. Make sure everything's aligned for us. This one. Okay, I'm just going to kind of clean up some of the glue residue, and don't worry about the glue residue on it. Again, your friends and family are going to want to see what you're doing. You kind of get a chance to gloat and show off, you know, what kind of show they're going to have at night. And so the stain just makes the racks look a little bit better. The glue is not going to, seeing a little glue run, this is not going to hurt any. Of course, like I alluded to earlier, to give a little bit extra leverage on the base, just carrying it over 1 inch from each side. Okay. Let's go ahead and do again, kind of need a dry run. And the more you do these and build these racks, the more you'll be able to eyeball that inch. But I'm just going to be a little bit more meticulous since we're videoing for your informational purposes. I'm going to put one here in the middle, kind of again following the same log. Of course, I forgot the top one. Yep. I'll flip this around. I'm kind of going to do the same thing. Make sure I have some glue across that bottom. Measure it out. And just a smidge. Check this side. Perfect. Okay. And then this one I'm just going to go and do both sides at the same time. Okay. So there we have the base. And of course, you know, you can clean up the little smudges of glue in the corner, but you're going to see what these are going to be the sides or the end pieces. And this is what's going to hold our fuse channel up. Okay, again, much like everything else, kind of do a dry run, just kind of see, make sure. Nice snug corner. Okay. Yep. Actually, let me go ahead and now let me just put this down and back down on the table. Okay. So we're just going to glue, got a little zigzag glue here on one side, and then glue on the other. Okay. Gotta put these and I'm going to do 4 nails on the side. Now if you're using screws, you can just use 2 screws if you wanted to do that. Again, I prefer the nail gun. It's great. It was a great investment. It's faster. Again, these things aren't carrying a lot of weight. You're not going to be moving around everywhere. Okay, again, do this side, do my little zigzag. Let's get that nice and snug in there. Again, this is why you wear gloves, so if you have a little extra glue that pops out, you know what, you can just clear it off. And I'm not too overly worried about extra glue. Glue dries. And you should always keep it level on a flat surface, but for this, because I'm on this side, our camera's on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and get these nailed in. Holding that board in place. Boom. Okay. Clean that up a little bit with my finger. Okay. Now you can, when you're putting on the fuse channel piece, you can go ahead and pre-install the aluminum foil tape. I'm not for this demonstration, just because we're going to touch up the ends. And as I was putting this together, I was going to demonstrate, you know, how to do that, but I'm going to touch up the ends, and it just wouldn't look as good until the stain dries. So, and of course you'll see that in later videos as we're doing the fusing, utilizing the rack itself. You're going to see how the fuse channel comes into play, and you get a whole bunch of different creative ideas to use in your show, especially if space is limited. I'll just try to get it glued in here just a little bit. It's a little bit warm out today, or warmer I should say. So the glue's not actually fixing like it would in a little bit cooler temperatures. It's not as thick, so I'm just going to go and lay this down, and we're going to go ahead and, again, much like lugs, I'm just going to alternate. Sorry, my arm's in the way. Okay. There we go. We've got outside the cable wire fasteners and the aluminum foil tape. Let's test it out. Let's see. There we go. We've got our tubes in the rack. Again, you can screw them down if you want to. You don't have to. For storage, I'm not going to screw them down. I'm going to show you later one of the cool things about the design of these racks. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and, now that I've tested, kind of see. Yeah, I'm using my hammer to open the stain. Again, I was staining earlier today, staining a whole bunch of boards for some other videos, and I didn't put it on tight, so I didn't need to get a screwdriver. And the back of hammer works too, so I'm just going to kind of get this open. Again, use whatever you're comfortable with. Top's is water seal. This is, as you can tell, is Minwax. Whichever color you like. And all I'm going to do is all the boards that I've cut, as opposed to trying to stain the whole entire thing, which does take a lot longer than just, stain a flat board. Flip, stain, flip, be done, let it dry. I'm just going to go ahead and just touch up these ends. This one up here on top. This is called a dab. Sometimes with the cut of the wood and the grain of the wood, you have to dab. It won't go on smooth, so you can see I have to, kind of like on this one, I have to dab a little bit. And again, it doesn't take a lot of stain to do touch up. It does take a lot of stain to make these racks. Grab a little bit more. Okay, so we got that side. Go ahead and get this side. If you want to do the nail holes, you can. You don't have to worry about using the nail gun. You don't have to worry about covering them up. Close that up, and there we have it. There is a two-piece standard poor man's rack. You use it with your existing tubes, as you can tell. So, kind of flip this around for you so you can see the back of it as well. And again, a couple great ideas that we'll run through later. So, take pride in your work. You've created something that is going to help you make a seamless 4th of July. Okay. Again, I thank you for watching V3 Pyrotechnic Designs. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also check out some other how-to videos, as well as our unboxing of some different various products to use. Again, thank you for watching V3 Pyrotechnic Designs.